can't sleep with Lefto, you know, he keeps you on edge, on time, in it. He's a collector, he's a progressive DJ. He's like, there's very few of those. Well, musically, he's a crazy guy. He's 5 people in one. He's like a child. He's like he's 16 all the time.
Ik ben Lefto. Ik ben al 20 jaar curator, radiomaker en DJ. Ik reis de hele wereld rond op mijn eigen manier. Ik ontmoet gepassioneerde en getalenteerde personen. En deze wil ik echt met jullie delen.
Controlling the schemes, cash rules everything around me. The new makers arrive. Hello, 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 Chicago, Chicago, Chicago.
Chicago is a place where if you work hard, you can do anything you want to do. There's enough space and time and resources and affordable places to live and work in, which allows you to create a foundation to do anything you want to do.
Chicago is like the best working class music scene in America. It's not as much of a rat race just chasing what's cool, but something where you can really try to produce something of substance or be creative.
No matter what you do here, you kind of work hard and there's kind of like a no bullshit attitude. And then you couple that with our tough winters and you get Midwest work ethic.
You know, if you come here, you're gonna have to bust your ass if you want to be an artist. You're gonna have to prove yourself. You're gonna have to go through it. There's plenty of mentors, there's plenty of people to look towards, but you're gonna have to be on the ground and hustle.
You can see a range of experimentation through the various musical scenes here and art scenes in Chicago. People have a wider vocabulary of weirdness here. But that weird shit that you made here is probably really freaking the shit out of people in Japan or Berlin, you know? And those artists are more appreciated abroad than they are in their hometown.
Chicago's like an incubator. You know, people who come here to cut their teeth or who grow up here in the vibrant arts and music community, you have to come correct. You have to come with some substance. You gotta be doing something real, and you also have to hone your skills. I feel like Chicago provides me a platform to find myself as an artist, you know, and I think the attitude of the city and also just the workflow of the artist community, it promotes creativity, but also, you know, I feel free, like I feel less restricted to try to fit in to this scene or that scene.
Sommige van mijn favorite artists, of alleszins MC's in hip-hop bijvoorbeeld, en ook van een nieuwe generatie, komen uit deze stad. En veel mensen weten dat niet. Ze denken, het zijn Amerikanen, die komen waarschijnlijk van New York of van LA. Maar heel veel mensen en muzikanten die nu overal in Amerika wonen, zijn originally van Chicago.
There's a lot of good music coming out of here, but unfortunately we don't have the attention that the coasts have. So I'd like to help all of these amazing artists just be heard. So I'm gonna try doing that through radio. Dude, I'm happy to have you here.
Ooh.
This is
Cozy.
Chicago's newest station.
What does it mean, lumpen? Is that the road?
Lumpen, no. Lumpen is a type of person that's radical, different.
That's nice.
All right, what's up, Chicago? You're tuned into WLPN LP, Chicago, 105.5 FM, Lumpen Radio. And I'm joined by a very special guest tonight on WLPN LP, so it's a great honor to have Lefto in from Brussels, Belgium.
I think music is the most important cultural form that we have. So by getting people together to listen to a DJ or see a band, having people congregate and hear and see what musicians are doing or DJs are playing is a way of communing and creating a kind of space where people could get together. And that base act of just getting people together leads to so much more activity, whether it's through your personal life, professional life, or your active life.
This is Abdullah Ibrahim. Some people know him as Dollar Brand. It's taken from one of my favorite records called The Children of Africa. And this tune is called Ismail.
Hey.
What's up, baby?
This is Lefto here.
Oh, what's up, brother?
Lefto, this is...
Nice to meet you, man.
How you doing? I'm triggering the tunes tonight.
It's beautiful, man. Were you playing some interesting Arabic sounds like earlier?
Yeah, I played Abdullah Ibrahim.
It's been
That was
all
Abdullah.
Lefto.
Oh, it's great.
Dollar Brand.
Beautiful, man. I remember.
It's the honcho, the head
A woman's
honcho.
mirror, y'all, is full of flesh that blossoms.
All of this way of living that people just easily accept is a disease. And he wants Lumpen Radio to be the cure. He wants us to freak out Chicago by putting out the stuff that we love so intensely.
Yeah, no one's playing this. No one's playing this kind of almost subliminal message of like universal harmony through other cultures.
Yeah. At parties, when people come, I want them to feel home, to feel equal to everyone.
Yeah, that's really great. I like that.
It feels like, among other reasons,
I think that mainstream radio in general has ruined culture, ruined music, has promoted this kind of facile, garbage sound throughout the airwaves everywhere. I think that it's destroyed the flowering of interesting ideas and destroyed the opportunity of independent music and ideas to have a following.
We're not corporate owned. We have no influences other than our own curiosities. So he wants us all to follow our curiosities and share what it is that we're passionate about with Chicago.
Odessa version's very, very deep song, Ebony Roses. This is Lumpen Radio, 105.5 in Chicago on a Friday night.
I mean, we all had to fall on our shit before. I know y'all niggas was late on y'all rent before. Ran into a couple Harvey Dents before. Maybe you niggas breathing too many chemicals. You think I'm finna go? Fucking with the children of the indigo. Bring the cash in vanilla envelopes. My niggas in the country trying to interlope, and I can't go. Hold on. Free ain't what cheap is. Niggas rolling like some cheapskates. I see kids talking work with empty briefcase. We put the beef under us and call that sweepstakes. Then roll a joint. It's like y'all had to fall on our shit before. I know y'all niggas was late on y'all rent before. Ran into a couple Harvey Dents before. Maybe you niggas breathing too many chemicals. You think I'm finna go?
You get to see his work ethic when he stays, you know, at your place. Almost 24 hours a day, we're talking about music. And, you know, it's time for me to go to sleep. I go lay down and I'm starting to drift off into sleep. And then all of a sudden you hear like the craziest beat in the air. I open my bedroom door and I listen and I'm like, what is that? You know, I have no idea what that is. So I'm just like kind of sitting by the door, listening to him go through music, and he's working on a show. So he works, I mean, he'll work another 4 or 5 hours at night when a person like me goes to sleep, you know. Yeah, it's inspiring, so I have no idea what he has in there. And, you know, a lot of times you listen to his radio show, he's getting stuff directly from artists, and it's all unreleased stuff. So, it's crazy.
Ik heb altijd met de jaren een nauwere band gecreëerd met de meeste mensen voor wie ik werk. En dus wat creëer je dan? Dat is echt zo die hechte band. En dan ga je ook niet meer op hotel, omdat hotels voor mij... Dat is iets steriels, dat is iets... Ja, daar zit geen leven in. Dat is tof voor een avond, als je zo naakt wilt rondlopen in je slaapkamer. Maar voor de rest is dat... Ja, dat is niet zo cool. Dat is koud. Dus wat doe ik meestal, is bij de promotor vrienden blijven slapen. Gewoon om hun dagelijks leven ook maar te kennen.
One day I was coming home from the suburbs, and I was listening to Lefto, and there was this song that came on, and I was like, "Oh, what the hell is this? This is fucking crazy." And if I didn't know better, that almost sounds like a Chicago song. So, you know, as soon as I got off the train, I jumped on the bike, came home. I looked up his page to see what the track listing was, and it was Micaiah. And that's one of the things that you gotta like love about Chicago sound, is that it's different. It's syrupy. It's thick, and it's always deep, right? And then the thing you gotta love about Lefto is that he will find that one cut on an album that you overlook. So I gave him that, you know, I gave him that album, and that's one track I just never listened to, and that since has become my favorite track. So it's weird how like it just like kind of looped back around, you know?
It's funny, you know, touring is so exhausting and you get so little sleep, but in some ways I get more sleep than I'm at home with the kids. So it goes both ways. But yeah, it's hard. It's hard to be away from the family. It's hard on everybody. But you know, that's what it is. That's how I grew up. Making music has always been something that was almost thrown upon me. Both of my parents are musicians. My father is a drummer, a jazz musician, played with a lot of avant-garde greats and just different jazz legends that I was fortunate to be around at a young age. And my mother is a folk singer from Hungary and is also now a music teacher. How long was I gone this last time?
A long time.
Yeah, and was it too long or not long enough?
Too long.
Are there any good things that happen when Daddy's gone? Is there anything good about it?
No.
Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. It's a blessing and it's a curse. You know, there's musicians, artists live outside of the general kind of working populations. And even though we get to have amazing kind of experiences, we also know the other side of it and the struggle of it, you know. And I do feel like artists are one of the few people that stratify class in this way, where like I've in the same day had the experience of being, you know, the guest of honor and playing a big festival, you know, but then I'll go around and late that night play a private party where I'm wearing a bow tie for whomever, you know, birthday party to make some money, you know? And so in that same day, we're the guests of honor, and then I went on to go hustle my money. And so that's an interesting thing to cope with and deal with as an artist. And, you know, and I wouldn't give it up, you know, for anything.
Ik leerde eigenlijk Mackay McCraven kennen door Alex, die mij eigenlijk rough files doorstuurde. Ja. Ik was helemaal verkocht eigenlijk. Toen hij mij die files doorstuurde, had ik echt zoiets van... Wow, dit is nu totaal even mijn ding. Redelijk rough, rauwe drums, waarvan ik eigenlijk hou. Want Mackay drumt met alles. Hij gaat daar soms even een oude cymbaal gaan halen en begint daar wat op te kloppen en zo. En het klinkt nice, weet je. Dat is Mackay.
I like to think of instruments as like, if it makes a sound, like I could come up with something cool with it. It doesn't mean I could take this violin and play a piece for you, but I could take the violin and we could mic it up and we could make a beat right now if we wanted to. Yeah. And so now with technology, we're like, it's full circle. And so yeah, it is new, it is innovative, but at the same time, we're still interacting with sound, and it's like sound and rhythm is everywhere. As a musician, you know, the thing that draws me to the jazz is that it pushes me towards mastery of my craft. You know, in order to play it well on a technical side, you know, this is a pursuit, you know, and so I'm connected with jazz through my instrument, through the music, through the legacy, through my family, you know, but I'm a person of today, you know, and my influences are broad. You know, Nirvana, Square Pusher, Nas, I mean, all this different influences. Also, I grew up listening to Hungarian music, African music. So I don't even think of myself as just blending jazz and hip hop, but I really like to think I'm a musician. This is what I'm absorbing. You know, I call myself a jazz musician because I like to improvise, because I'm connected to the legacies of jazz, you know. But when I create, you're gonna get me, and you're gonna get my influences, and I'm gonna play the kind of music I wanna play. I look at improvisation and composition as two sides of the same coin. I mean, first of all, we all improv. Improvisation is a fact of life. We have to navigate through this world with all the chaos that exists around us. The universe exists with chaos. The only constant is change. You can't tell the future. So all we can do is be prepared and have our skills up to a certain level that we can deal with whatever life throws at us in the moment. So that is a universal truth I believe in.
Sky is a sea of darkness when there is no sun. The sky is a sea of darkness when there is no sun to light the way. When there is no sun to light the way.
Phil Karan is een van de veel spirituele artiesten die Sun Ra omringde. En Sun Ra is de spirituele jazzmeester.
Playing music is the same as looking at the sky. Everywhere you look, you see something different. Every instrument has its own voice. Every piece of music reaches untold dimensions in your psyche, in your existence. Music is your expression, it's your universal language because it is the same identical combination of energies as the I understand things at this age that I couldn't possibly understand earlier, because you go through cycles in life. And in each cycle, you look at the same thing from another perspective. And so to put all those perspectives together, that's what my music's saying. If you can hear it, if you can feel it, you can do it. I came here in the 40s, in 1946 to be specific. The music was so powerful that people didn't live on regular schedules. There were people, you didn't know what day it was when you woke up because nobody was living according to it. I doubt if there's anywhere in Chicago that a person in 1946 could live without hearing some jazz.
Did it change a lot for you when you started playing with Sun Ra? Did it give it another dimension, or did it?
Every dimension, because he demanded all of my time. We rehearsed from 12 to 6, played from 10 to 4. And so that was 12 hours a day and it was 7 days a week.
All the time?
All the time. Once I heard Sun Ra's music after, you know, that first rehearsal, I went to rehearsal every day after that. Because I came to Chicago for that. I came here for musicology. And I had about 5 or 6 years to study what music was all about. I had a job, you know, and I had to give that up. And then I had to get a woman up. And then I gave up a whole lot of other things because I realized what I was getting from Sun Ra was more valuable than anything else. And that is, if you want to do something, do it all the time. Now let me tell you, when I left Sun Ra, I said I'm not going to sound like Sun Ra. I'm not going to be just another player who was influenced by Sun Ra. I'm going to change music. So how can I change music without understanding its depth and breadth?
There you go, on the beach.
John, that's the one, man. Yep, right there, man. Can you make it? Can you match it? Can you match it?
And I was fooling around, and all of a sudden, well, little by little, the melody flowed out, and I played it. And everywhere we went, people said, "Frankie Vaughan Blues!" And none of us understood why it was so popular. But everybody liked it.
So much skills.
Yeah.
So much skills on this, huh?
You can't, there's no notes there. He's just.
It's just.
Can you imagine?
Everybody knew I was somebody once I produced a record that didn't have no pre-band or nothing. We just made it. I give everybody a note here and a note there and get 2 tenors of the theme, and we hit it and created the whole thing on improv. Because as we began to play, we all knew what to play without saying a word. I didn't tell them nothing but their notes. And everybody made it up, and it's the best thing I ever done in my life.
Het is moeilijk te beschrijven, maar veel Cubanen ontmoeten die jaren rond Sun Ra hing, is voor mij een speciaal iets. Dat is het is alsof ik een deel van die energie heb kunnen raken. Van die spirituele energie die Sun Ra en de hele orchestra had.
I look back at my life and I was on all the four fronts. Somebody was in charge of it. I don't know who it was, and I ain't gonna lie to nobody about it. I want to say to the people who have enjoyed my music, that it's much deeper than just trying to make some money. I would have been rich long ago because I could have sold this and that, but I have choices. And those choices that the music belongs to the people. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to their enlightenment. It belongs to their resolution of this situation. There's such a thing as time, and time is the partner to eventuality. And so nothing happens before its time, and I study time. I study cosmology. I would like to leave all I know about that on this planet before my time is up.
You could argue that the way the urban planners developed the city of Chicago allowed them to create geographic zones that allowed there to be a kind of separation between different ethnic communities.
We had the train yards that separate a certain neighborhood. We have the actual expressway that separates certain neighborhoods. Within that, over years, I guess a concentrated race of people was actually put on certain sides of town, which is stuck that way to now.
There's many different parallel worlds happening here. You know, there's neighborhoods in Chicago or the downtown neighborhood that is very wealthy, full of activity, full of business. And then there's a number of neighborhoods that are decimated, poverty-stricken. It's a completely different world. You wouldn't believe you're in the same city by going to certain neighborhoods, whether on the south side or the west side.
The biggest problem is walking into a neighborhood and get blown away. Thousands of people have been murdered here who didn't even know they're murderers. Thousands. And so there's a system working here of hatred, whereas the pistol is going to solve the problem, but it doesn't solve anything. It creates problems.
Man, I started going to funerals when I was like 13, man. My first friend got killed, like getting hit back high, right up the street from my house. And I was like the first funeral I went to at 13. And after that, it was more and more people getting shot.
You know, Chicago does have a lot of gun violence in it, and it's typically driven by youths or people involved in the kind of gang culture here. If you have a dispute now, instead of maybe talking through it or beating the crap out of each other with your fists, you just shoot the person. I mean, many beefs and fights are started by people posting videos on YouTube, dissing another person. And then people actually try to find that person in the real world and kill them. And it's really unbelievable, and it's really depressing.
You know, I was all in it for a few, but then luckily, man, I ran into Rashad and Gant and a couple of my other boys that deal with music and like showed me a better way. Cause I could have been out here like the rest of them, man, but man, the music is what changed my life and saved me. Like, cause yeah, it's real dangerous out here. And if you don't know what's going on, it can eat you up just like that in a heartbeat.
Footwork is een genre dat typisch is voor het noorden van Amerika. Detroit, Chicago. Het is een soort mix tussen hip-hop en ghetto house. Een versnelde soort muziek als trap. Daarnaast heeft het ook een aparte dansgenre waar de voetpassen echt wel heel belangrijk zijn. Supersnel, super ADHD-genre dansmoves. We zitten hier bij Spin thuis, enfin, bij zijn moeder thuis. Hij zit hier beneden, meestal in de kelder, beats te maken. Dat is hier zijn studio. zijn rommelruimte, zeg maar. Then you put it on a loop. Oké. Blijven gaan. How would you describe footwork? To me, it's like somewhere between house and, you know, like Miami bass and all that stuff, but also almost hip-hop beats, like trap beats, you know?
It's like the bridge between house and every other genre, I want to say, you know, in a new school fashion. Well, it all started with house music in the 80s, from the early house music days to ghetto house. And basically that was just the stepchild to house music. A little bit faster, a bit more edgy, a lot more vocals versus beats. And just footwork just was a natural progression of the genre because that's the moves everybody was doing to it. Other than the people that were just partying and dancing on each other, like it was actually kids that went out just to footwork. And they didn't want to do nothing else but footwork. They didn't want to hit hip hop or nothing. So like the footwork genre was born when people say, hey man, I don't want to dance to nothing else. I want to dance to footwork. And then that made us make a certain style of music to accompany the dance. So it all goes hand in hand. How Chicago influenced the music? You know, it's a fast-paced city, so I think that's one of the reasons we make music so fast. You know, just to go with the times that we living in and the actual dance. You know, the dance, that's a representation of the streets as well. So like the kids that's living the fast life, they moving fast, so they dancing fast, you know? Yeah. And I want to say that's kind of like the evolution with speed and everything. It comes from just the motion of the city, how we move around the city. Yeah, you know, probably add some old, like some drawed out synth stuff. But man, with all this equipment, like it's so, how could I say it, man? Not even necessarily easy, but everything's so accessible now. Like, I could just go through 1,000 different synths, different sounds, all these plugins.
What? Did you ever think of moving and leaving Chicago?
Oh, yeah. Man, I put 30-some years in this city, so I don't feel like I'm missing something anymore. You know, I can't say I actually outgrown the city, but certain things that's going on, it's pushing me toward that direction. You know, I got kids now, so it's a whole nother way I gotta think about maneuvering. It ain't me just out here partying and being with the homeboys, you know, and making music. It's like, yeah, we do that still, but then I got family. So that makes a little difference right there. I could go to a whole nother country. People might not necessarily speak English, but as soon as them beats come on, we talking the same language. You know, just like that. The music and the rhythms, it speaks volumes, you know, and that's what happens on the dance floor. You get a reaction from the vibration of the speaker, people start moving their body, now we talking to each other.
Het is eigenlijk op de tweede avond dat ik eigenlijk spraakloos ben. De eerste avond was met Phil Karan, die mij volledig wegblies met zijn cosmology en musicology en alles wat hij te vertellen had over dingen die wij zelf niet beseffen in ons leven, snap je? En dan de tweede avond hier met de spin, waar hij gewoon helemaal van in het begin een nummer maakt waarvan ik dacht van oké, het gaat hier in 2 seconden klaar zijn. En hij blijft maar gaan en hij blijft maar gaan. En ik was gewoon helemaal in een trance, in een trance. En de homies ook, zij vielen allemaal zo in slaap, maar eigenlijk niet. Thank you, man. This is my third speechless one. It's a USB stick with music from Spain. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate that. Make sure you listen to that when I get home.
Break it down, 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 break it down. fuck saying that Rashad got that hand in that double cup. Double cup, double cup. Take like we run this shit, pull up the double cup. Pull up, pull up, pull up. Break it down, break it down, break it down. Ben and Rashad got that hand in that double cup, double cup, double cup, double cup, double cup, double cup.